Wondering how you can use those veterans education benefits? If so, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Oyato Rigsby. Veterans education benefits are a terrific way to help pay for tuition and fees at post-secondary institutions and training programs that can help prepare you for the job market. And we here at the Maryland Higher Education Commission serve as the official state approving agency for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Maryland has demonstrated its commitment to our veterans and their families by ensuring they have access to quality education and training programs. And we safeguard our students by providing oversight of the over 400 post-secondary institutions, including public and private colleges, universities, community colleges, public safety training academies, high schools, and even employers offering on-the-job training and apprenticeship programs.
Today's GI Bill not only pays for in-state tuition and eligible fees, it may provide things such as a monthly housing allowance, an annual books and supplies stipend, as well as a one-time rural benefit payment. And unlike previous renditions of the GI Bill, you may have the option to transfer unused benefits to eligible dependents. A complete list of education programs can be found on the GI Bill website. How are some of our students in Maryland using their VA education benefits?
I'm Trooper Sean Brown with the Maryland State Police. Prior to my career with the Maryland State Police, I served as a corporal in the United States Marine Corps. I was extremely privileged to have the opportunity to utilize my GI Bill throughout the training portion of my employment. Transitioning out of the Marine Corps and into a new career while providing for a family can be extremely stressful. While the Marine Corps provided character traits and a level of tactical and technical proficiency to translate over into my career in law enforcement, the GI Bill provided an essential monetary benefit to allow me to provide for my family. The GI Bill greatly reduced financial stress, allowing me to focus on carrying over the values and skills ingrained through the Marine Corps and continue to serve others as a Maryland State Trooper.
My name is Justin Worcester. I served 6 years in the Air Force and I'm currently serving in the Air Force Reserves as a linguist. I'm attending Loyola University in Baltimore using the post 9/11 GI Bill. At Loyola, I study accounting and am the president of our Student Veterans Association. As a non-traditional student, I'm thankful for the financial aid offered by Loyola and the post 9/11 GI Bill to help me achieve my education goals.
To determine your eligibility and to apply for your Veterans Education benefits, please go directly to the Department of Veteran Affairs GI Bill website. This website provides a variety of other resources and updates regarding current benefit programs, and applying for and tracking your benefits online is now easier than ever. We also encourage you to use the resources provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs when selecting your institution of choice. The VA provides many tools to help you as a consumer to make the best decision for your post-secondary education and job training. These tools can help you search for approved institutions and programs, determine the necessary factors to consider when choosing a school, submit feedback on experiences with educational institutions while using their education benefits, and obtain answers to frequently asked questions.
Finally, MHEC administers several state scholarships and grants for eligible students in the state of Maryland. Some of these scholarships and tuition waivers are specifically geared towards the Maryland National Guard, veterans, and their dependents. Maryland's veterans and their eligible family members may apply for some of the following: the Marine Gunnery Sergeant John David Fry Scholarship, or commonly known as the Fry Scholarship, which pays eligible dependents up to 36 months of the full 100% level of the post 9/11 GI Bill. This includes the tuition and fee payment, a monthly housing allowance, and a books and supplies stipend. The Veterans of Afghanistan and Iraq Conflict Scholarship provides financial assistance to service members who served in Afghanistan or Iraq and their family members. The Edward T. Conroy Memorial Scholarship for eligible veterans with a service-connected disability and eligible dependents of a member of the United States Armed Forces who died as a result of military service or suffered a service-connected disability. And Maryland National Guard members may be eligible for up to 50% off tuition waiver at state colleges, universities, and some private colleges. For a full list of eligibility requirements, please visit our website and click on one of our Quick Links tabs. With all of these education benefits, scholarships, and tuition waivers, Maryland continues to support our veterans and their families to transition their valuable skills into viable careers to help enrich Maryland's economy by providing productive, gainfully employed citizens. If you missed any of the contact information in our presentation, please visit the Veterans Benefits page on the MHEC website. Thanks for watching.
I would just add some transparency. You'll see in that video, I was a Veterans Affairs analyst, so it is a little dated. But Oyata and I had the opportunity to make that video with Maryland Public Television, and it was a great opportunity. It was my first behind the camera debut. But yeah, it was a great collaboration at MPT to share that resource and also work with some of our student veterans to help make that video as well. Oyata?
Yeah, and I noticed that we have representation from the Maryland State Police, and we did really appreciate Trooper Brown's, time and effort. We have a question about the National Guard tuition waiver going up to 100%. That can differ from one institution to the next. It's something I know there has been activity on, but it's definitely something that we can continue to look into. All right. Now we'll begin the actual PowerPoint presentation itself in earnest. Just bear with me another moment. Okay. So our team is part of the National Association of State Approving Agencies. NASA, not the NASA, but we let people think so from time to time. And our job, or the agency's mission, is to facilitate the efforts of its member state approving agencies in promoting and safeguarding the quality education and training programs for veterans. Most states have a state approving agency. Quite often they're located within the state's Office of Higher Education. Not every state actually has a separate Office of Higher Education. In some cases, it's one office or one agency that covers K through post-secondary. We're actually pretty fortunate in Maryland, as we are a separate entity from the Maryland Department of Education. Next, and we are the Maryland State Approving Agency, and we are located as a part of the Maryland Higher Education Commission. And we are the approving authority for entities within this state who want to administer GI Bill benefits. And again, our goal is to promote and safeguard education and training programs to increase the awareness of every veteran, service member, or eligible dependent, so that they all know what they're eligible for, and ultimately to protect the GI Bill resources for those programs. I also want to point out that here at this last bullet point, that the GI Bill actually is a trademarked slogan, so to speak. So if you're using it in your promotional materials or your advertising, this is sort of a protected means, but the VA has trademarked GI Bill. Over the years and in the past, there have been some entities that may have abused the language of the GI Bill, maybe promoting services and programs that they didn't actually have. So this trademark, this registration, was sort of a way to counteract that, if you will. The term GI Bill refers to any Department of Veterans Affairs education benefit earned by members of active duty, selective reserve, or National Guard Armed Forces and their dependents. And it's designed to help them attain educational and/or job skills. Again, spouses and family members may also be eligible for training, and about 25% of those who benefit from VA's education benefits are non-veterans. And we're going to go into the list of the various education programs that the VA does offer. The first one is the post 9/11 GI Bill, Chapter 33. This was signed into law in 2008, and it began in earnest in 2009. And in the 12 or so years since then, this has probably been the benefit that has really brought veterans into institutions of higher learning, non-college degree training programs, some of our state agency public safety programs, and even the apprenticeships. It was really a transformative piece of legislation. This is probably the most generous version of the GI Bill since the original GI Bill was rolled out at the end, I'm sorry, of World War II. Let me see if click the link here. This will actually go to the VA's actual post 9/11 GI Bill website. And this is basically a listing of all the requirements. But as I was saying about the transformative nature of this piece of legislation, for veterans who are 100% vested in the program, and that means they have completed 3 years, 36 months of active duty military time since September 11th, 2001, with an honorable discharge. It covers 36 months of training or classroom time. And that's not necessarily just 36 months nonstop. I mean, if the student, if it's a student in college, the time is being counted while they're actually in class. The students in class this spring semester, for example, then time is being deducted from that 36 months. If they sit out the summer and next fall, then nothing is being deducted. If your trainee is in, let's say, a public safety program, if they have 6 months of classroom time followed by a year of field training, then that year and a half or the months associated with it are actually deducted from the post 9/11 GI Bill benefit. But again, it's not a continuous 3 years and it's gone. It's not like that at all. And generally speaking, the benefit does not expire. This was one of the caveats built into the Forever GI Bill. Now, it doesn't apply to everyone. But for vets, I want to say the limiting date is in 2013. If they serve before that delimiting date, then they typically have 15 years from the date of their discharge to utilize their benefits, or they expire. The Forever GI Bill is primarily for veterans who served after the delimiting date in, I believe it's 2013, and the benefit never expires. One thing that we had seen in the past, particularly during the last recession, were that there were veterans who had benefits from years past, but they never used them, and as a result, they expired. So this is a way to help combat that. Another benefit was the Montgomery GI Bill. This was really the predecessor to the original, or to the current post 9/11 GI Bill. There are some differences. Actually, let me expound on the post 9/11 GI Bill. Again, that's 36 months of training. If the student's in college, for example, going to one of the public schools, public universities here in Maryland, it will cover, hypothetically, all of their tuition and fees for any of the eligible courses and programs that they're enrolled in, and will also pay them a book stipend of up to $1,000 a year, as well as a monthly housing stipend for the time during which they're in training. Again, if it's a student in college and he's in classes from January to May, then he's getting a full housing stipend, or a housing stipend for those months. And for months when the enrollment is not for the entirety of the month, it's prorated. In the Baltimore, Washington region, that monthly housing stipend for someone who's training full-time at a college is typically in the neighborhood of $2,200 or $2,300 a month. In the Western Maryland area, it is a little bit lower. On the Eastern Shore, it's a little bit lower. And even certain parts of Southern Maryland, I want to say it kind of begins somewhere in Charles County, but the housing stipend is slightly lower in Southern Maryland. But again, this is part of the appeal of this. And if a student is training on the job or in an apprenticeship, not only can they get paid from their job, but they can also collect benefits via the post 9/11 GI Bill as well, simultaneously. And again, the Montgomery GI Bill was the predecessor to the post 9/11 GI Bill. And it basically provides a monthly stipend to the veteran. Typically what that means is they get a monthly payment, and then it's up to them to use that money to cover any tuition and fees that might be associated with their training and or to live on. Not quite as generous as the post 9/11 GI Bill, The next one is, well, the Chapter 30 bill, I want to say, is being sunset, and pretty soon it'll all be primarily the post 9/11 GI Bill. The Montgomery GI Bill Selective Reserve is a benefit primarily for reservists and National Guard. It also pays them a monthly stipend, not quite as generous as for Chapter 30 or even the post 9/11 GI Bill. There is a bit of a disparity, and that has been the subject of some talk and some legislation over the past decade. But National Guard and reservists who've actually served on active duty in the aftermath of post 9/11 can actually qualify for the post 9/11 GI Bill. And if they have 36 months of active duty time since, with multiple deployments, they can qualify for the full package. Chapter 32, the Veterans Educational Assistance Program, it was actually rolled out, I want to say, in the immediate aftermath of the Vietnam War era, late 70s, early 80s. It's still active. Occasionally, we actually run into veterans who are actually making use of this benefit. Not many, but it is still out there, even with caveats about the delimiting dates and whatnot. And the last benefit we have listed is the Chapter 35 benefit for survivors and dependents. And if the active duty veteran, once they've separated, they are determined to have a 100% service-connected disability, or they're deceased because of their service, then that qualifies their spouses, children, and other eligible dependents for this benefit. And typically it pays a monthly stipend, not as generous as the post 9/11 GI Bill, but it pays a monthly stipend to the dependent. And again, they can use that money to handle tuition and fees or how have you. Also, let me also mention that there are mechanisms for veterans or active duty personnel who qualify for the post 9/11 GI Bill to pass that benefit along to their dependents, their spouses, their children. The election process usually takes place, I believe it has to take place while the service member is still on active duty. And that's sort of a collaborative effort between the United States Department of Veteran Affairs and the United States Department of Defense. The VA also provides a GI Bill comparison tool, and it's a resource to allow the veterans to do research on institutions that they are looking or considering applying to as college students, or applying for employment or on the job or other training opportunities with. And it allows the vets to compare tuition, accreditation, programs offered, flags, so on and so forth. In the event, and it has been an issue where there have been bad players out there. So this is a mechanism that the VA decided to install to help, provide a good amount of information to veterans and their eligible dependents, so to speak. Let me also mention one of the caveats, a big caveat for all of the programs that I named above, all the ones for veterans specifically, is that they have to receive an honorable discharge from the military. It has to be an honorable discharge. Otherwise, it will disqualify them from GI Bill benefits. So that means occasionally, during my own time as a school certifying official, we would meet people who had general discharges under honorable conditions. That is not the same thing as an honorable discharge. Which brings me to the Chapter 31 benefit, the Veterans Readiness and Employment benefit, formerly known as vocational rehab. And this is for veterans that have a service-connected disability of 20% or more as determined by the VA. It provides career training, workplace accommodations, resume development, job skill coaching, and so on and so forth. And we have seen circumstances when veterans who did not have an honorable discharge, but maybe that general discharge under honorable conditions, they were able to qualify for this Chapter 31 payment. And we've included a phone number for the Veteran Readiness and Employment Agency. Here in the state of Maryland, depending on your location, some of the veterans utilize the Baltimore VA office. Of course, if you're in PG County, Montgomery County, even Howard County, Anne Arundel, You may find veterans that are utilizing the Washington, D.C. VA office. And occasionally in places like Western Maryland, they may utilize a VA regional office in the state of West Virginia. But again, there are counselors, agents scattered around the state. And again, an overview of what the GI Bill can be used for: college degrees and certificate programs, technical and vocational courses, flight training, again, apprenticeship or on-the-job training, high-tech training, licensing and certification, entrepreneurship training, entrance examinations. With regard to licensing and certifications, depending on what type of nationally certified exam or license they're applying for, the veteran can be reimbursed for the cost of taking that exam through the GI Bill. On the job training and apprenticeships have been a great area of growth over the past few years. So, not every veteran wants to come back home and go to college. So offering the on-the-job training and apprenticeship definitely present a viable alternative. So the programs allow the veterans to utilize benefits in an alternative manner to attending a traditional college or non-college degree institutions. And they can receive, as I mentioned earlier, VA payments while they're training on their job. We have several public safety agencies here in the state that have been approved for on-the-job training and or apprenticeships, several trade unions and several private companies. The Maryland Department of Labor, I saw in the invite that we had representatives from that agency. They have been a very valuable partner with our agency with this effort to expand on-the-job training and apprenticeship opportunities to the veterans. So if anyone from Maryland Department of Labor is on the call, hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. And definitely me personally, because I know I pester Chris McCleary and Kevin Hunt all the time, definitely another big thank you. There's also additional information from the U.S. Department of Labor on helping agencies or private entities or other agencies become vet friendly and becoming a facility that offers on-the-job training and apprenticeships for veterans. As you also heard during our video presentation, this agency offers a couple of scholarships that are tailored to veterans. The Veterans of Afghanistan and Iraq Conflict Scholarship is primarily for veterans that have, exactly what they say, post 9/11 service in either the Iraq or Afghanistan theaters. And that's something that veterans can use, their eligible dependents can use, and it has been a very successful program. The Edward T. and Mary A. Conroy Scholarship tends to be for veterans and maybe eligible dependents who might have exhausted any federal entitlement we've had. And this one has also been fairly successful. Members of the Maryland National Guard are also eligible for tuition discounts at participating institutions, community colleges, four-year schools, both public and private. The actual amount of the tuition discount or waiver can vary from one institution to the other. And we always recommend definitely contacting the school. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, there is a person or several persons, depending on the agency or the entity. The key figure on our college campuses with regard to VA band is someone called the school certifying official, and also at our on-the-job training facilities and our non-college degree entities. There is also someone, a certifying official. At our department, state agencies, public safety, it's often someone who is the training manager or coordinator for the agency or the entity. And likewise, in the NCD institutions and colleges, often they're located in the Office of Financial Aid. But if anyone has a question about who they should contact, a veteran you're working with or yourself, one of their key contacts, the key contact is the certifying official. And we have a list of resources here, phone numbers for education, and a wide variety of websites. The GI Bill website, the vets.gov and e-benefits website. Vets.gov and e-benefits are actually, I call them partner sites for veterans who want to apply for their veterans educational benefits. E-benefits is actually an older version of vets.gov, I would say, but it's still active. But veterans can use these websites to apply for education benefits, to apply for healthcare benefits, or to inquire about them as a starting place. It's sort of particularly vets.gov is sort of a one-stop for veterans trying to get information or give information. We saw that on the meeting. We also had members from agencies like the DHCD. At the www.va.gov website, you can actually find additional information for things like the VA home loan program. So that's a very useful website as well. There's a link here for the National Association of State Approving Agencies. Have one last plug. NASA, we have a storyteller, a podcast called NASA Storytellers, and you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, I believe Amazon, and many other services. But we'd like to put that out there. And we have contact information for those of us here at the agency, as well as the Maryland Department of Veterans, I'm sorry, the Maryland office of the Federal Department of Veterans Affairs, our education liaison, and probably our team member in absentia, let's put it that way. But she's definitely a very, very, very critical figure for all the work that we do with the Maryland State Approving Agencies. And that brings us to the end, and definitely we can begin to entertain questions or comments, and we hope we've provided some useful information to begin with. Away we go.
I just want to say before we jump into questions, thank you so much for that presentation. And I am so thankful that we are recording so that I can place this on our YouTube channel and ideally post it up to our